A police chief is accused of aiding a cover-up.
Larchmont vehicles are vandalized by BBs.
An MHS student's hair is set on fire.
And get ready for Halloween and the Great Goblin Call. Those stories and more right here on this edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
Hello and welcome to Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Sven Oehme.
And I'm Alyssha Miro. Our top story, well, Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Maura Carlin has the latest on the accusation that a Mamaroneck Village police chief aided in a cover-up.
There's yet another twist in the Village of Mamaroneck Police Department disciplinary proceedings against police officer Jeremy Skehan. Now Mamaroneck Chief of Police Edward Flynn is accused of covering up an alleged sexual assault by another village police officer in his patrol car last January. According to the Journal News, court papers filed in the Skehan case refer to a secretly recorded audio tape of Police Chief Flynn telling the accused officer that the Westchester District Attorney's Office found the woman's story credible but dumped it back on Flynn, who suspended the officer for 1 day, fined him 5 days' pay for conduct unbecoming an officer, and then dropped the investigation. The Journal News reports that in the audio tape, Police Chief Flynn tells the officer, who is married, that the case would come down to a he said, she said scenario, and that the woman is ready to testify against him, but that Police Chief Flynn would drop the investigation if the officer gave up 5 days' pay. The audio tape came to light in Officer Skehan's lawsuit to reinstate his pay in connection with the disciplinary proceedings, suspending him without pay for allegedly reporting false allegations of police department corruption in yet another matter to the District Attorney's Office. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Maura Carlin.
Several Larchmont residents were victims of car vandals 2 weeks ago. Homeowners woke up to find holes in windows, damaged taillights, and dents in their fenders. One vehicle was parked in a driveway on Beach Avenue, and 3 others were vandalized on Woodbine Avenue. One car sustained over $3,400 in damages. According to its owner, one of the vehicles had a BB-style projectile lodged in the lens of the taillight. Police Chief Stephen Rubio cautions parents to monitor their children's possessions and is quoted in the Larchmont Gazette letting residents know that BB guns are prohibited by local ordinance.
It looks like that the new Mamaroneck village manager will be clerk treasurer Lenny Verastro, who took over as temporary village manager in April when Sandy Miller, who held the job, departed from his post. Verastro, who has been Mamaroneck village clerk treasurer for many years, has also filled in a couple of times when Mamaroneck village was looking for a new village manager. However, he never seemed to be interested in becoming village manager. Now it seems as if he may have changed his mind, and it looks like he will become the new manager. He apparently has the blessings of the search committee that the village board set up when Sandy Miller left. Village Mayor Phil Trifiletti told the Journal News, quote, "I look forward to announcing the new village manager appointment to the village residents once we've made all the contractual arrangements." End of quote.
Well, with the details about the proposal to repeal parts of the Patriot Act and how it will affect our community, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Christina Bolger interviewing Elizabeth Baird Sanger from the Board of Directors of the Westchester chapter of the NYCLU.
Mamaroneck Village is one of the first villages in Westchester to have a resolution in front of them right now to be passed regarding the Patriot Act. Now, when people hear Patriot Act, I think patriotism.
Yes,
but
we're all patriotic, but I think that it's patriotic to be very much concerned about the USA Patriot Act, and a lot of us are. It's very much a nonpartisan effort. The USA Patriot Act is an acronym for United in Serving Against, anyway, it spells out.
Right.
It was passed in haste and in a rush
After
right
September
after
11th,
September 11th.
to protect us.
Theoretically, I mean,
Right.
we're devastated by the events
Correct,
of
sure.
9/11, all of us. And there is a need to have better coordination of the bureaucracies of the CIA and the FBI and all of that, and to get ourselves organized to become safe. The USA Patriot Act is not making us safe.
Now, some of our freedoms and rights are being violated under this act. Can you tell us a little bit? I know the First and Fourth.
Yes, I'm terribly concerned. For the first, for example, the right to speak up, to protest, is very much in doubt under the USA Patriot Act. You can be called a terrorist if you express dissent out in, the definition of terrorism is so broad that marching in the street with a permit or expressing dissent could be defined as terrorism. Also, the basic, what I think of as terribly important rights of privacy and dignity that are protected by the Fourth and Fifth Amendments, privacy of our homes, our castles.
So anyone, the
there's
government can
a-
come in any time
there-
and come into our home and
Absolutely,
tap
under
our
the USA
phones.
Patriot Act, and this again is a very nonpartisan. Republican congressman from Idaho has led recently this summer opposition to this what's called the sneak and peek provisions of the USA Patriot Act, which say that local police working with the FBI can enter our homes, go through our computers, go through our dresser drawers, go through our desks
without warning.
without our ever knowing.
Without us
Maybe,
even knowing.
yeah, 60 days later they might tell us, or they might come and arrest us. But all these things that we assume are just absolutely basic rights.
Rights and freedoms.
To free, yes, are really under threat.
What about the libraries?
The library, any books you check out, the librarians of America are united very, very strongly against the USA Patriot Act, because anything you check out of the library, anything you do in the library is now subject to surveillance by the United States government. And if the librarian tells any officer or tells anyone or tells you that you're under surveillance, then the librarian is committing a felony.
So it's
And-
very
and-
important that this resolution be passed in the village of Mamaroneck and also Westchester County.
I think it's very important. We also have a petition that we've been gathering signatures since spring and summer for Westchester County. We'll present it in mid-November, I think. But in Mamaroneck Village, and I've lived here 30 years, and I love this village, and I'm as patriotic as anyone. But the Patriot Act threatens us on the local level. We have to defend ourselves on the local level. It's local officials, local police, local librarians
Right.
who
So
will be
as a
carrying it out.
community, to help this resolution be passed, they can contact Mayor Trifoletti, the village
the
trustees.
mayor and the trustees, and let them know. I should also say that 185 municipalities across America have passed similar resolutions in opposition to the Patriot Act, including just recently Chicago. New York City is about to do the same thing.
Wonderful.
Philadelphia, 3 states, Alaska, Vermont, Hawaii.
Wonderful. There's so many. Now, if people want more information about the Patriot Act, they can go to www.nybordc.org, and that stands for the New
Bill
York.
of Rights, New York Bill of Rights Defense Campaign.
Okay.
And
also the New York. It's www.nyclu.org.
That's right,
New York Civil Liberties Union.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Elizabeth, for coming in, and hopefully the community is better aware now of the Patriot
Thank
Act and
you.
what's happening in our community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The Larchmont Mamaroneck Food Pantry is celebrating its 10th anniversary and seeking volunteers. Here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Laura Smith with the details.
A bright light in our area has just celebrated its 10th year. The Larchmont Mamaroneck Hunger Task Force, a local food distribution operation and center that has supplied more than 45,000 bags of groceries to area residents needing assistance. The task force has spent over $420,000 over the years to purchase food and has benefited by the generous help of over 10,000 volunteers. The food pantry receives donations from houses of worship, local residents, and various foundations and grantors. It is wholly organized and run by volunteers. At this time, volunteer coordinator Sarah Edwards is seeking volunteers for the many aspects of food distribution, which would include food purchasing, boxing and bagging, lifting boxes, and delivery to homebound recipients. If you would like the rewarding opportunity of helping local residents for as little as 1 hour a week, or more if desired, please call the Volunteer Information voicemail at 698-3558. That's 698-3558. Thank you, and happy 10th birthday to the Larchmont-Mamaroneck Hunger Task Force. For Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Laura Smith.
To sell or not to sell David's Island is a big issue in the New Rochelle City Council election scheduled for November 4th. As we reported earlier, Westchester County is planning to buy the island for $6.5 million with the goal of turning it into a county park. Even among those candidates who are opposed to the sale of the island to Westchester County, the opinions of what should be done with the island differ very much. The only solid supporters of selling David's Island to the county are Mayor Timothy Idoni and Councilman Norm Branson. Both Democrats. Idoni told the Journal News, quote, "There is a tendency for people to grossly oversimplify the development costs of David's Island. It is just not that easy," end of quote. He also said that some 44 federal, state and local agencies would have to approve any development plans for David's Island. Miles Ehrenkrantz, a Republican candidate for the New Rochelle City Council, told the Journal News, quote, "David's Island is a gem. It should not be let go," end of quote. "We'll keep you posted on the further developments."
Seems like we've been hearing about David's Island for a long time now.
Ever since we've been doing the news show,
That's
we've
true,
been talking
15
about
years.
David's Island.
Well, Mamaroneck School District has decided to remove the physics regions from the high school curriculum. Here's Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News reporter Kate Fahey with the details surrounding the decision.
On September 29th, Mamaroneck High School made a drastic change in the physics curriculum. The school has chosen to eliminate the Regents exam as one of the course's requirements. This decision was based upon the low-quality test that has been given in the past 2 years. In June 2002, 23% of the 108 students failed the Regents, and last year, of the 110 students, 24% failed. Now, with the Regents gone, the midterms and finals could possibly be much harder than the Regents, but all the material will have been covered by the teachers. The new curriculum will be modeled to coincide with the SAT-2 test and the Advanced Placement B exam. Basically, what we have added is more beneficial, said Mr. Levine, the department head, to a student in the sense that they will give him a better feeling of the sciences, the wholesome of the sciences, and the sense of the world. And hopefully, the new course will do just that. For Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Kate Fahey.
Just a few weeks ago, a student at Mamaroneck High School apparently had his hair set on fire. Witnesses to the act claim a white male lit a piece of paper and then used it to light the hair, which started smoking. The student had dreadlocks and had been napping outdoors during a free period. There was no damage to the student's scalp or face, but he did lose a number of locks of hair. The alleged fire setter was suspended from school, and the mother of the victim has brought the incident to the attention of the Village of Mamaroneck Police Department and the Westchester District Attorney's Office. In addition, she has consulted with a counselor and an attorney and discussed the incident in televised interviews. Concern over safety and whether this was a hate or bias crime has many people discussing the situation. The suspect is age 17, so a regular detective is investigating, and the detective is collaborating with the youth officer.
To introduce us to Murray Avenue School's new principal, here's Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News reporter Maura Carlin.
There's been an administrative changing of the guard at the Murray Avenue School. This school year welcomed new principal Jennifer Skazafov and new assistant principal Michelle Cohn. Principal Skazafov comes to our district from Hastings, where she was an assistant principal. She grew up in Ardsley, received a degree from Manhattanville College, and her first master's degree from Long Island University in English as a second language, and then her master's in administration from Fordham University. She taught in New York City and Croton-on-the-Hudson, and Mrs. Skazafov is excited to be here.
To be the new kid on the block.
It feels great. It's very exciting and challenging at the same time. There's a lot of things to get to know. I look forward to taking this year to get to know the school and the community, as well as the teachers and parents and kids. I've been here since July, so it doesn't feel quite as new as it did, so it feels great.
What do you think are the most important educational objectives for elementary school?
I think the most important objectives is to focus on the children and their academic, social, and emotional needs. I think elementary schools really need to give kids the foundation for them to succeed in school and in the future. Hopefully we can help build the foundation by giving them the skills to do so.
What changes would you like to implement? What can we expect to see?
Well, I think this year you won't see many changes at all. I'm really taking the year to sit back and get to know people and the school and the teachers. And any changes that will happen, I think, will begin to happen slowly over the next few years.
And I also got the chance to speak with Assistant Principal Michelle Cohn, who comes to Mamaroneck from the Bedford School District. After college at Hunter City University of New York, she received her master's degree in elementary education and reading from Lehman College, and then a master's degree in administration and supervision from the College of New Rochelle. She has a long and strong background in teaching reading.
Well, as assistant principal, I'm hoping to learn everything that I can about the culture of Murray Avenue. I know that it has a rich history. I look forward to building relationships with all of the stakeholders, including staff, teachers, parents, and certainly the children. And I hope to work closely with Mrs. Skazafov to support the wonderful instructional program that has been going on here for years, do whatever I can to facilitate the growth of children and the nurturing of their talents.
You've been an educator for all of your professional life. What still excites you the most?
I think what really excites me the most is watching children grow and flourish, and I'm very interested in curriculum and instruction. I find it fascinating that even after years there's so much learning that can go on. I mean, instruction is basically rocket science. I think as a former reading teacher, one of the most exciting things is taking an at-risk child and just watching them learn how to read. There's nothing more dynamic than that.
Let's put it back to back.
Mamaroneck Town Administrator Stephen Altieri submitted his preliminary budget to the town board. It's no surprise that in the current climate of budget increases, the preliminary budget shows an increase of 9.3%. In his explanations to the board, Stephen Altieri said that the rise in the budget was primarily based on a 7.3% increase in expenses. 4 areas were responsible for that increase: state-mandated pension contributions, health care, liability insurance, and workers' compensation costs. The town board is going to review the budget very carefully and will review all positions to identify those items where cuts may be possible. A public hearing is scheduled for December 3rd at 8:15 p.m. at the town center. The budget is scheduled to be adopted on December 17th of this year.
Well, fall is upon us, and with it comes the Great Goblin Call. To find out about this exciting event for youngsters, listen up to Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Amy Schachtel.
October means apple picking, getting out warmer clothes, and picking out the right pumpkin, and oh yes, Halloween, one of the many seasonal events that will take place every weekend in October, is at the New Rochelle Armory on Main Street. For 26 years, the New Rochelle Chamber of Commerce presents a scary good time, featuring some of your frightening favorites, such as Freddy, Jason, and Leatherface, as well as some new ghosts and goblins. I'm getting scared already just thinking about this. Okay, The haunted house is open every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday evenings in October. And Sundays from 5 to 7 is Family Day for younger audiences. And they'll have a haunted carousel, hot dogs, cotton candy, and ice cream. This annual event is a volunteer effort, so come out and have fun. Tickets are $7. Group rates and discounts will be available, so if you would like more information, call for details and times to 632-5700. That's 632-5700. And the Mamaroneck Recreation Department is currently accepting registrations for their Great Goblin Calls. Youngsters between the ages of 3 and 5 can have their parents register for no fee with the Mamaroneck Recreation Department. They'll be placed on a list, which the Great Goblin will take and call these kids on Friday, October 31st between 5 and 6 p.m. And after your child speaks to the Great Goblin, he or she can come to the recreation office at the Mamaroneck Town Center on Monday between 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. for a Halloween prize. For youngsters kindergarten through 4th grade, the Mamaroneck Recreation Department will sponsor a contest to see what the Great Goblin looks like. Participants may draw a picture of the Great Goblin on an 8.5 by 11 white sheet of paper and drop it off or mail it to the Recreation Department by Thursday, October 30th. Please include the child's name, address, and phone number and their school. Put that on the back of the drawing. All the youngsters will receive a participation ribbon, and awards will be given to the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place winners. Don't forget, please include a self-addressed stamped envelope if you mail your entry. And any questions can be directed to the Recreation Department at 381-7865 between 8:30 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. Well, I'm just scared that I won't have enough time to do all these fun things. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Amy Schachtel.
Many residents have been wondering what the barge off our coast in the Long Island Sound is doing out there. For the answers, we turn to Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Laura Smith.
As reported by Judy Silverstein, that large barge you have seen in the middle of the Long Island Sound and have for almost a year now is one of a series of barges that are laying a pipeline which will carry natural gas from Canada to New York City. This is according to Harbor Masters Jim Mancusi in Mamaroneck and Sal Gugliara in New Rochelle. The project, almost at a close, is finishing up off of Manor Park. Environmentalists such as Soundkeeper Terry Backer are keeping their eye on the project and have the support of some who believe that the process of pipelines and cables under the Sound could be harmful. Whereas supporters of the project, such as residents on Long Island who face high energy costs, are looking forward to its money-saving potential. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Laura Smith.
A former MHS student is nominated by the Mamaroneck Town Fire Department for the New York State Volunteer Recruitment Service Scholarship. Here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray with the story.
Former Mamaroneck student Grant Nashanian, now a senior at C.W. Post Long Island University and a volunteer firefighter, was nominated by the Mamaroneck Town Fire Department for the New York State Volunteer Recruitment Service Scholarship. He received the maximum award of $4,350 per year. In addition to his firefighting, he actively volunteers with the American Red Cross and the Westchester Emergency Communication Association as a ham radio operator. He's also vice president of the Residential Student Association of C.W. Post. The way to go, Grant. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Glenna Gray.
Vincent Pizia III of Mamaroneck and his business partner were convicted recently in a federal court for falsifying a claim that their office had been located in the World Trade Center and was destroyed by the attack on September 11, 2001. Pizzi was convicted of stealing $350,000 from relief agencies that were set up to assist companies that had been damaged by the terrorist attack. Pizzi faces up to 25 years in prison, his business partner up to 90 years. Their company, Alexander Edwards International, an executive recruiting firm, had offices at 2 World Trade Center, but left the World Trade Center complex before the September 11th attack. Sentencing is scheduled for January 14th.
The Village of Mamaroneck Recreation Department's annual road race is set to take place in November. With the details, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Amy Schachtel.
If you're on your mark and you're ready to run, then get ready for the Mamaroneck Recreation Department's annual Race and Run. On Sunday, November 23rd, the Village of Mamaroneck Recreation Department will be holding its annual road race. The 5-mile race is open to all ages and begins at 10 o'clock on the dot. There's even a special 1-mile gobbler open for children 12 and under. And being at 10:15 on the dot, pre-registration is $15 and $20 on the day of the race. So, you can pre-register at the Recreation Department at Harbor Island Park Monday, October 27th through November 20th by 4 p.m. T-shirts are guaranteed to all who pre-register. I want to mention that some of the sponsors for this event will be the Rotary Club of Mamaroneck, Dempsey McElvey Appraisal Company, the Pizza Gourmet, Jeanette Bogart's Best Breads Limited, and the Crab Shanty, which reminds me that hot soup will be served to all the runners after the race. If you need more information, please call 777-7784. That's 777-7784. That's the Mamaroneck Recreation Office. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Amy Schachtel.
Burke Rehabilitation Center in Mamaroneck may be at risk of closing. Here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Christina Bolger with information about how you can help.
The Burke Rehabilitation Hospital right here on Mamaroneck Avenue is in danger of closing its doors due to a proposed ruling defining which patients can receive inpatient rehabilitation. Unfortunately, this ruling will exclude Medicare patients with pulmonary disease, joint replacement surgery, cardiac disease, and also those with cancer. To prevent this from happening, you can contact State Congresswoman Nita Lowey and ask her to pass H.R. number 2246. That's H.R. 2246 in the House of Representatives, or State Senator Susie Oppenheimer, and ask that she help in getting the S number 1222 passed by the Senate of New York State. That number again is S1222. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Christina Bolger.
Steve Spangler was one of the many volunteers who came out to help the community by repairing an area home. The effort was organized by the Washingtonville Housing Alliance, which is a nonprofit organization devoted to the rebuilding of area homes for the elderly and disabled. Local businesses contributed to the effort by donating money, such as J.P. Morgan Chase and Spadero Realty. This is the second year that the program is running. Last year, volunteers repaired a Mamaroneck home on 2nd Street. Prior to this house, the Alliance helped repair homes in Mount Vernon, Portchester, and Peekskill through AmeriCares. The program was started because there was a realization for the housing repairs, and it has been up and running ever since. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Kate Fahey.
And that's it for this week's edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
If you want to see this news show again, you can. It's on every weekday night at 7 p.m. We record one show each week, and it's replayed on this channel, LMC-TV, channel 75.
Or if you want to request a seat, you can call LMC-TV after 4 in the afternoon during the week at 698-6808 and ask to see the news show. They will try to put it on at a time that's convenient for you to watch.
And this reminder, this news program is an all-volunteer effort, and we could use a few more volunteers, either behind the scenes or as a reporter. Or maybe you'd like to shoot video. Whatever the case, we need you.
In short, if you want to volunteer to help us put this program on, we have something for you to do. Stop by some Thursday night in the LMC-TV studios and see how we do what we do.
The LMC-TV studios are in the Mamaroneck High School, the Palmer Avenue side, just up the stairs across from the landmark Walter's hot dog stand. We get things started around 7 p.m. and we would love to see you.
Also, if you have any comments or suggestions or some video of an event that you'd like us to put on this new show, Bring it to the studio or write to us at Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News in care of LMC-TV, 1 Library Lane, Mamaroneck, New York, 10543.
Thanks again for watching Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Sven Oehme.
I'm Alyssha Miro. Don't forget, Election Day is coming up on November 4th, and have a very happy Halloween.
Well,
Happy Halloween.
Okay, here we go. Go ahead and set.
More news on the Mamaroneck Village Police Department probes.
Leaves may leave Metro North commuters behind.
Charges of a prostitution house in Mamaroneck.
A Larchmont Ironman tries to help Flint Park, and you can help too.
How to shop Larchmont without leaving home. Those stories and more right here on this edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. Hello and welcome to Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Maura Carlin.
And I'm Amy Schachtel. Our top story.
The police department saga continues in Mamaroneck Village. Recently, after village officials were put on the defensive by a federal court judge, Village Mayor Trifoletti and the Board of Trustees called for an independent investigation into the allegations of sexual assault by a village police officer. United States District Court Judge Charles Briant criticized Mamaroneck Village officials for taking nearly 5 months to conduct an ongoing disciplinary hearing against village police officer Jeremy Skehan. Skehan, as you may recall, was suspended without pay and forbidden to seek other employment since last May for allegedly giving false testimony to the Westchester County District Attorney's Office regarding different instances of corruption in the village police department. Court papers recently filed by Skehan's attorney accused the village police department of covering up the alleged sexual assault. The village board of trustees issued a statement that it received no specific information about that incident and was given a report by village police chief Edward Flynn that the matter did not require their review.
What is beautiful for some has been dangerous for others, and I'm referring to this. At the time of year when the falling leaves may be something of natural beauty, at the same time they've caused problems for Metro North and other railroads because the falling leaves mixed with rain have made the rails slippery, which has caused many minor delays. Metro North has addressed the problem on their Harlem and New Haven lines, which are the two lines that have been particularly affected with accumulations that have been more than on the Hudson line. Metro North riders received notes on their seats apologizing for these delays. Railroad spokesperson Marjorie Anders has been quoted as saying, "Damp leaves are a problem because they stick to the rails and get crushed under the wheels, which releases the oils that cause a slip slide." The same problem has caused delays in Philadelphia, New Jersey Transit, SEPTA, and the Staten Island Railway. Railroad employees have built a machine to combat this problem. It is a flat car that has high-pressure water jets that can blast leaves off the track, and they call it Water World. For us in the Larchmont Mamaroneck area who work in Manhattan and are so dependent on these trains, we are very grateful.
A couple has been charged with running a prostitution ring out of several locations, including one in Mamaroneck Village. Westchester County District Attorney Janine Pirro announced the arrest of husband and wife Ferdinando and Grace Ziola of Scarsdale, alleging that the duo ran a prostitution house at Del Rio Beauty at 434 Mamaroneck Avenue in Mamaroneck, as well as 2 locations in Yonkers. According to the Sound and Town report, undercover investigators were charged $50 upon entering the location and then directed to a private room. In that room, a woman offered to perform various sexual acts in exchange for cash, ranging from $50 to $150, depending upon the act. The Ziolas are each charged with 1 count of promoting prostitution in the 3rd degree, which is a Class D felony with a maximum sentence of 7 years if convicted.
For 22 years, Mr. Lenny Verastro has been clerk-treasurer for the village of Mamaroneck. At present, he is also interim manager, replacing Sanford Miller, who resigned this past March due to philosophical differences. Mr. Phil Trifoletti is preparing for finding a new village clerk-treasurer. Frank Kulroff of Bennett Associates, a recruitment consulting firm, was hired. Kulroff already has names of almost 100 applicants nationwide. This search began in April when Kulroff, working in coordination with the 12-member, 1-manager search committee composed of former officials, the police chief, the fire chief, and several residents. Now, according to Joe Lanza, the search committee chairman and former mayor, having Verastro as the new manager makes good sense to him. And he is quoted in the Times as saying, "He's certainly one of the most honorable people I know, and he would do what's right for the village." Mayor Trifoletti hopes to have the position filled by December.
Archie and the gang are hitting the road on buses to teach middle school students to stay away from drugs and alcohol. Westchester County Executive Andrew Spano got the Mamaroneck-based Archie Comic Publications on board. They've introduced a comic book to help kids stay out of trouble, featuring the Archie gang at familiar sites in the county, such as the Westchester County Center, Rye Playland, and the Galleria Mall. About 50,000 copies will be sent to middle schools. And you'll also find the gang on county buses with words of wisdom targeting middle schoolers like "drinking can get you in trouble" and "hey kids, drinking is fattening." The campaign will also feature cable TV commercials and websites for kids and parents. More information is available through the county website at www.westchestergov.com.
The Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Kate Fahey tells us about a local book fair.
It was a joyous occasion for more than 100 children who attended the Daniel Warren Elementary School Book Fair. This event is held twice a year to raise money for educational programs. With the theme of this year's fair being sleepover, kids, parents, and teachers showed up wearing pajamas, slippers, and many carrying a favorite stuffed animal. The Daniel Warren School, located in Rhinebeck, had its interior walls covered with streamers and posters reminding children of the importance of reading. There were many fun things to do at the fair, such as that tattoo booth, and there was a huge assortment of books to purchase. Principal Joan Babcock and the teachers' goals for this year are to raise enough money for teaching programs and technology. In the past, says Babcock, the book fairs have funded visits by authors from the Smithsonian, puppeteers, and paleontologists. Hopefully, this year's fair will be able to enhance the learning experience at the Daniel Warren School just as it has done in the past. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Kate Fahey.
Talk about a run for the money and a bike and swim too, all to raise funds for a local park. Here's my chat with a local Ironman. John Steigerwald is joining me. He is doing the Ironman Triathlon to raise money for the Flint Park Conservancy. John, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Tell us first, what is a triathlon?
A triathlon is any combination of swim, bike, and run. There's different levels of it. There's sprint distance, there's Olympic distance, there's half Ironman, and there's a full Ironman.
Okay, well, we know you're doing the full Ironman, so what is that?
The full Ironman consists of a 2.4-mile swim, a 112-mile bike, and a marathon, 26.2 miles.
Wow, that's quite an endurance feat. You've done this before.
Yes, this will be my 5th one.
Now, I understand you're doing this to raise money for a cause. Tell us about that.
I'm joined forces with, it was first brought to my attention by my daughter Brianna's principal, Jane Hand, at Chatsworth Elementary School. And she suggested, because I had, with a number of other individuals in town, raised money for different causes through Ironman that we try to raise money for the Flint Park Conservancy, and they're trying to put together a new playground for Flint Park. And the point person on this is Bridget Brennan, who's been very instrumental in putting this all together. And
she's at the Conservancy.
She's at the Conservancy, and a letter has gone out to every person in Larchmont in the 10538 area code, soliciting funds through Ironman and through sponsorships of me running the race.
Now, Ironman itself is a fundraising organization, or has some fundraising capabilities?
Correct. Ironman, over the last number of years, has raised millions of dollars. And what they basically do is they really encourage the athletes to come together and raise money for any particular cause that you want. It can be anything as long as it's nonprofit. So Janus Mutual Funds is the sponsor of this, and what they do is to encourage it, for the first place finisher in fundraising, they'll give a $10,000 grant, second place $5,000, and then there's prize money as you go down. In the past, I got started in this through a friend of mine, Gary Rodbell, who was an Ironman in town, and he's one of my best friends. And he really inspired me to do this. He taught me about racing and everything else, and there's a group of us that go out and we race. Gary and I, in Florida Ironman last year, raised about $74,000 for Barth Syndrome Foundation, which is a foundation run by the McCurdy family here in Larchmont, and we came in second place with that. And you know, we raised a lot of money, and we thought it might be a good opportunity to get the community together for the Conservancy to raise money for the playground for all the kids in town.
So how much are you hoping to raise this time?
We're hoping to raise at least $125,000.
And if I understand correctly, you're hoping that Janus will kick in $10,000?
Yes, if we win that, and I think $125,000 would win it, we'd get $10,000 extra, so it's an added bonus.
Have the contributions been rolling in?
Contributions have been coming in.
Still taking more?
Absolutely.
Okay, now the race is November 8th.
The race is November 8th.
Who should people contact if they want to contribute or somehow cheer you on?
They need to contact the Larchmont Conservancy, and the point person is Bridget Brennan. And you know, a letter has gone out to everybody for sponsorships, and we're asking for those to come in because it really benefits everybody. It's for all the kids, it's for the families, and you know, everybody really wins when we're able to put together that kind of playground that they're envisioning.
Well, we wish you the best of luck in the fundraising and in the race itself. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much.
And in another fundraising news event, the Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter, Kate Fahey, spoke with Frank Pearson, president of the United Way of Larchmont Mamaroneck.
What are United Way of Larchmont Mamaroneck goals for 2003?
We basically have three goals for this year. One of them is to raise the awareness of what United Way does in the community with both people who don't really know about us, but even those who do. I think United Way has a great brand name nationally, but it's really hard to figure out what United Way does locally, so that's one of our goals. We also want to try to raise awareness of community service. One of the things that we did last year was we formed a new scholarship for high school seniors who have a history of community service, and we give a scholarship for that. The third one, of course, is United Way is about fundraising. We have a goal this year of $500,000, which was a significant increase over last year. There's a significant need in the community for our services, and through this generosity of the people in Larchmont Mamaroneck, we were able to reach our goal last year, and we're hoping that with a challenge, with a large increase, that people will step up and help us meet our challenge.
And why should someone give to United Way?
Well, United Way is a very unique organization among the charities. A lot of charities have a very narrow focus. You have American Cancer Society, you have the Leukemia Society, very worthwhile organizations, but they have their very narrow focus. United Way is a broad-based community organization. It looks for what are the needs in the community across all types of needs, not just a single one, and then tries to bring all kinds of resources to bear for them, not only just money, but also the government, businesses, volunteers, training, and really tries to bring a lot of resources to solve particular needs, the most critical needs in our community.
And how does United Way decide which organization to give to?
Okay. Well, most organizations, when they apply for money, they have to give us a grant proposal. And we are really funding now programs rather than organizations. We fund a program that tells us what kind of impact they think they're going to have in the community, how it's going to meet the needs of the community. And there's a group of people that gets together to try to evaluate these grants. We have 6 impact areas in terms of dealing with family and children and seniors and others. Those people try to decide on the grants for each one of them, make recommendations to our board up in White Plains that services the entire county. So, and then the board decides to give the money. But also, the United Way of Larchmont America itself has a pool of money that it's given every year to evaluate. And we give to organizations that really drop below most people's radar screens in terms of trying to give money to. We have the Hunger Task Force here. We have ELM. We actually have right here in the high school, we've given to the YES office to support some of their programs here. So what we're really trying to do is have a broad-based county-wide decision-making process, but also a decision-making process that's right here, local in Larchmont and Mamaroneck.
And where can people get more information or make a contribution to United Way?
Well, of course, United Way has a website. It's uwwp.org. You can go there, find out a lot more information. We're certainly looking for people to give money, but we're also looking for people who want to serve on a board or serve on some of the organizations we have, so we're looking for people to give contributions of time and money. And you can also go and stop in if you want to at our office here in Larchmont on 230 Larchmont Avenue. And you can call 834-7018 and ask for Vice Unruh, who runs the office. And we'd be happy to get any and all kinds of contributions.
Okay, thank you so much for coming by.
Well, thank you for having me.
Instead of strolling through Larchmont for shopping, you can now scroll through, as local merchants have gone online with a new website. LarchmontShops.com, the developers of the new website, aim to give local merchants the power of the internet without the expense and time of creating their own websites. Presently, 27 stores are signed up and on the site. You can learn the cost of laundering shirts at valet cleaners, stylish clothing ideas at Panaccio, and a whole lot more. You can check it out without leaving your home at LarchmontShops.com.
Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Christina Bulger has news about upcoming Newcomer Club events.
The Larchmont Newcomers Club has been serving our community for the past 50 years. On Thursday, November 6th, they'll be hosting their annual Community Resources Fair. The luncheon begins at noon. The location is the Larchmont Avenue Church. During this event, club members and newcomers will have the opportunity to learn about services provided by local civic, volunteer, and not-for-profit organizations in the Larchmont, Mamaroneck, and New Rochelle areas. There will also be group babysitting available on site by reservation, and the cost is $10, and there's an additional fee of $4 per additional sibling. You can call Anna at 834-7487 or Janice at 834-9033 or the Creative Corner at 833-2880. The Newcomers Coffee Morning is slated to welcome new residents on November 11th at 9:30 a.m. You can call Maria Vienna at 633-1714. The club's coffee evening is on November 19th at 7:30 p.m. and you can contact Teresa Vita Vink at 833-7797. For more information about the club's numerous activities, visit them on their website at www.larchmontnewcomers.com. Reporting for Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Christina Bulger.
I've got a nose for sweets, and I've found myself at a brand new bakery in Larchmont. Come and take a look with me.
I am here with Du Yan Cho and Alan, will you pronounce your last name for me, please?
Rodier.
And I am at L'Atelier in Larchmont, the newest French bakery to come to the area, and it has a lot of specialties that are different from any other bakery or pastry shop that's been here. And I'm going to let the owner and the chef tell you more about it. Well, Duan, I wanted to find out, this is a beautiful place. How long have you been here?
We've been here for 2.5 months now.
And what made you choose Larchmont?
Well, Alan and I are both from Westchester, and so we thought that it would be a great idea to open our first retail venture together here in Westchester. And as we got to know Larchmont, we really appreciated the fact that it was a very community-oriented place, and we thought that it'd be a wonderful place and a very supportive environment for us to open our first business.
Oh, well, we are very, very pleased to have you. Alan, I was learning before a little bit about your experience, but I would like to hear it straight from you. Where have you learned? Where have you done most of your creations? And what led you here?
I started about 25 years ago back home to France, and I started from a regular culinary school for 3 years, and then get graduated. And then I started to work to travel, to go to a few parts of the world and to learn and experience people in different deserts.
Well, speaking of different desserts, we have quite a beautiful assortment right in front of us. The beautiful designs and colors of the small pieces in front certainly catch my eye, but I'm most curious about this chocolate pyramid. If it has a name, and I'm curious what's inside. Can you please tell me?
Yes. Well, basically, it's a chocolate. I make myself a mold. I didn't have a mold. And about 2 weeks ago, I decided I cut some piece of cardboard or something, make myself a design. And I make some, I have a chocolate ganache. It's baked with chocolate ganache. And actually, inside, in the middle, it will be a pistachio creme brulee, covered by chocolate ganache and the chocolate cake on the bottom.
Alan, I can't wait to try that. I'm going to have to bring one of these home. I must ask you now, Duan, do you have a background in cooking or baking? What brought you to want to be part of this?
I actually don't have a background in baking. My background is actually in finance. A year ago, a little over a year ago, I decided to leave the investment banking industry to actually go to law school. But as I started researching law school, it didn't seem like the right fit for me at the time. So as I was questioning what I should do with my life, my mother introduced me to her good friend Alan Rudier, and he and I sat down and started talking about opening a store together. And here we are.
Well, I am so glad that you did. And once again, it is L'Atelier. And give us the address and phone number, please.
We're located at 2135 Palmer Avenue in Larchmont, next to the Guitar Center. And our phone number is 834-6004.
And we're sorry to report that James W. Cronenberger, the town of Mamaronec's first recreation supervisor, has died at the age of 82, but his legacy lives on. Cronenberger was responsible for the development of the Hommock's rink and pool and town recreation activities, such as tennis and sailing instruction, activities which continue today. Our condolences to his family. And that's it for this week's edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
If you want to see this show again, you can. It's on every weekday night at 7 p.m. We record one show each week, and it's replayed on this channel, LMC-TV, channel 75.
Or if you want to request to see it, you can. Call LMC-TV after 4 in the afternoon during the week at 698-6808 and ask to see the news show. They'll try to put it on at a time that's convenient for you to watch.
And this reminder, this news show is an all-volunteer effort, and we could always use a few more volunteers, either behind the camera or in front of the camera. Or maybe you like to shoot video. Whatever the case, we need you.
In short, if you want to volunteer to help us put this program on, we have something for you to do. Stop by some Thursday night in the LMC-TV studios and see how we do what we do.
The LMC-TV studios are in the Mamaroneck High School, the Palmer Avenue side, just up the stairs from the landmark Walter's Hot Dog Stand. We get things started around 7 p.m. and we'd love to see you.
Also, if you have any comments or suggestions or some video of an event that you'd like us to put on this news show, bring it to the studio or write to us at Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News in care of LMC-TV, 1 Library Lane, Mamaroneck, New York, 10543. Thanks again for watching Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Maura Carlin.
And I'm Amy Schachtel. And Maura, when I was at the bakery before, they gave me this delicious cake. Thank you again to Alan Rudier and also to the L'Atelier Bakery. Shall we?
Absolutely.
Oh, here comes Christina Bolger. Take a bite.
Election results are in.
A new village manager from Mamaroneck.
And Mamaroneck Village commits to fixing sewers.
A dinosaur now roams the earth at a local playground.
Our community is on the map for antiques.
And you may be able to get a tree enlargement village. Those stories and more right here on this edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. Hello and welcome to Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Sven Oehme.
And I'm Maura Carlin. Our top story. Election results are in, and in the only contested local race for Town of Mamaroneck Judge, Judge Jean Marie Brescia has been elected, beating her Republican opponent Don Derrico with 2,731 votes, or about 58% of the nearly 5,000 votes cast this November.
As of November 1st, it is official that Lenny Verastro is the new village manager of Mamaroneck Village. He's been village clerk treasurer since January of 1981 and was acting village manager 4 times since then. The job had been offered to him before when village managers resigned and he took over on a temporary basis. But this time he finally made the decision to take the position as the climax of his career in civil service. Verastro signed a 4-year contract with an annual salary of $130,000 plus benefits. He was officially sworn in on Friday, October 31st, and a ceremonial swearing-in will take place at the village board meeting on November 10 at 7 p.m.
Yet another twist in the Mamaroneck Village disciplinary hearings against Village Police Officer Jeremy Skehan. The Village Board of Trustees is pulling out of the hearings, recusing itself, and appointing former New York State Supreme Court Judge James R. Cowie as the hearing officer. Village Attorney Kevin Plunkett says this action was necessary since Police Officer Skehan has sued all of the Village Board members in federal court, accusing them of bias against him. Skehan's attorney argued that by appointing a hearing officer, the village was violating state law because it required that the disciplinary hearings be restarted from scratch, and it removed the final decision concerning the disciplinary hearing from the elected officials empowered to make it. Under the proposed arrangement, the hearing officer would report his findings to the newly appointed village manager, Mr. Verastro, who would then make a final determination.
As homeowners and landscapers pile up leaves at the curb, it is important that fire hydrants are kept free of any such leaf piles. They could create confusion for the fire department in trying to locate a hydrant in a fire emergency. The pilings of leaves around fire hydrants also subjects the hydrants to the hazard of damage in the leaf collection process, since an equipment operator may inadvertently strike the hydrant. So again, when you clean up the yard, keep the leaves away from the fire hydrants so that they are visible and readily available for use for the fire department in case of an emergency.
After several go-rounds, the Town of Mamaroneck Zoning Board has approved the project slated for the old Cook's Restaurant on Boston Post Road. A scaled-back version of the proposed new Duane Reade Drugstore and Commerce Bank buildings required fewer variances than originally sought and made accommodations to nearby residents' concerns over buffers and visual impact. In addition, the Zoning Board found that traffic concerns would not be significantly worse after the addition of the 2 buildings. Now it's on to the Planning and Board of Architectural Review, but neighbors say they intend to remain involved to pursue other concerns such as dumpsters, lighting, and landscaping.
The jobless numbers released for Westchester County for the month of September showed a drop from 4.2% in September of 2002 to 3.9% in September of this year. The number of jobs in the county increased by 0.1% or 400 jobs from September of the previous year to September of this year. Compared to New York City and to other parts of New York State, the county fares quite well. In New York City, unemployment, not seasonably adjusted, reached 8.6% in September, which was an increase of 1 percentage point from the same period in 2002.
Here with the latest on sewer repair in Mamaroneck Village is Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Laura Smith.
As reported in the Times by Michelle Lee, the Village of Mamaroneck must comply with a consent order issued by the State Department of Environmental Conservation to start a 5-year water improvement plan or face a $20,000 fine. Mamaroneck will be obligated to set up and abide by a timetable that will assure the repair of 65 manholes and sewers, approximately 11,700 feet of pipe, 44 sewer points and siphons, and to continually monitor, inspect, and repair the troubled sewer system. The village trustee, Christine Derrico, was quoted as saying, "It is a huge burden for us, but it's forcing us to move ahead." Environmental consultants Woodard and Curran, based in Maine, were hired to observe and critique Mamaroneck's sewage system and to help implement a plan and begin the process of setting a sewer maintenance plan. Chairwoman of the Mayor's Water Quality Committee was said to be pleased that the village and the DEC were coming to terms with the consent order. Desmond stated, "It is clear the Village of Mamaroneck is now setting on a path of no return. We are moving forward on the problem." For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Laura Smith.
Suburban carding in the industrial section of Mamaroneck Village has been in the news many times because of odor and noise violations. The Board of Trustees has set a date for a special public meeting regarding suburban carding. This meeting will be held on November 17th at 7:30 p.m. at the Emlyn Theater in Mamaroneck, 1 Library Lane. A consulting firm, Webster Environmental Associates, will present an update on the odor and noise mitigation report.
And you thought dinosaurs were extinct. Well, a group of parents, citizens, and government officials got together to bring one back for the kids. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Christina Bolger has the story.
There's a new Stegosaurus-shaped climber in Larchmont, thanks to many volunteers, including the more than 40 dads of the 2nd and 3rd graders who helped in constructing the new playground. The playground is a continuum of a Chatsworth tradition of the cooperative efforts between parents, the Mamaroneck School District, the Village of Larchmont, and the playground designer, Brett Hadaway. The PTA contributed a $53,000 gift. This contribution has been accumulated over several years of regular PTA fundraising. The Village of Larchmont foreman Joe Bedard also pitched in, along with a crew from the Department of Public Works, who had to prepare 70 3-foot deep post holes. The EMM Design and Construction Company and the Chatsworth parent, Ed Gitlin, and carpenters from his company added their professional help too. The Stegosaurus playground replaces the one built by the 1989 PTA and then updated 5 years ago, again by the parents. Chatsworth Principal Ms. Hand told the Journal News one of the reasons the new playground was needed is because of the growing number of students, along with new safety standards. Now they have all new equipment. Congratulations to all of the many volunteers and parents who assisted in making this new, safe playground a reality. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Christina Bolger.
A tree grows in Larchmont, or could. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Kate Fahey is here with more.
This past spring, throughout Larchmont, 85 new trees were planted along the street sides. In the growing effort known as the Big Dig, they will be adding to Larchmont's forest by planting more trees in the upcoming spring. Would you like a tree planted in front of your house? If you would, write to the committee, care of the Village Hall. The Park and Trees Committee will assess conditions such as how much sun is there, are there any overhead wires, and is there space for the roots? During the tree selection, the village keeps in mind their goal of maintaining and expanding Larchmont's canopy. Would you like to get rid of a bush? If you need your bushes pruned or taken down, call the Department of Public Works. Do you have any extra shrubs? The Park and Trees Committee is accepting donations of healthy bushes. They might be able to be used in local parks. Join in on the Big Dig and help Larchmont keep on growing. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Kate Fahey.
Did you know that you live in an antique shopper's dream? With The Scoop is Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Laura Smith.
According to an article by Judy Silberstein in the Larchmont Gazette, and what local shoppers have known for years, Larchmont and Mamaroneck have become a decorator's destination, an antique lover's haven. Both towns have been highlighted recently in the Westchester Way, a brochure put out by the Westchester County Department of Tourism as a tourism draw. Both Larchmont and Mamaroneck have clusters of antique and collectible stores, such as Chatsworth and Briggs House Antiques in Mamaroneck and Artie Antiques and Dualities Antiques and Art in Larchmont. There are, of course, many other stores to peruse, for the smallest of trinkets to large-size antique furniture. The Wolf's Den Antiques is in liquidation at this time, however, due to the proprietor's death over the summer. The Westchester Way has actually developed 2-day tours to our antiques mecca, including lunches and overnight stays in area hotels coming from either New York City or Connecticut. Shoppers are urged to engage the help of an expert such as Helen Kipax of Larchmont, who runs the antiques brokerage house and points collectors to exactly what they're looking for. For further details on each store, see the Westchester Way brochure. For those of us who already know and love our antique and collectible shops in Larchmont and Mamaroneck, there's always room for one more treasure, and the best hunting is right down the street. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Laura Smith.
Local schools had some special visitors. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Christina Bolger has the story.
The Mamaroneck Community Nursery School learned some very valuable lessons recently. At first, they were surprised when 2 men wearing masks, helmets, heavy coats, and steel-tipped boots got down on the floor and crawled around among them. The fire department has done these safety classes for the past 10 years. The children are taught how to respond to a fire and how to be prepared. Lieutenant Don Stiller told the Journal News that children often don't know what to do and hide under their beds. Recently, the fire safety classes were held in all of the Mamaroneck schools. The firefighters taught the children the proper way to respond in the event of a fire, including the stop, drop, and roll technique if your clothing catches fire. They also present a computer slideshow on how to activate smoke alarms, fire alarms, and how to plan an escape route. Another safety tip they learned is not to run and hide if you hear the firemen. You should always scream out, "I'm here! I'm here!" Reporting for Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Christina Bolger.
Congratulations to James Darnell Jr., a longtime Larchmont resident. Darnell has received the National Medal of Science, our nation's highest honor for lifetime achievement in scientific research, for his groundbreaking research in the area of genetics. Darnell's research also has implications for human health and may help find a cure for certain cancers. Impressive work.
As Thanksgiving approaches, it is time again for the Turkey Trot in Mamaroneck Village. It will take place on Sunday, November 23rd, starting at 10 a.m. There are 2 runs, a 5-mile run which starts at 10 a.m. sharp, and a 1-mile run that is scheduled to start at 10:15 a.m. Registration for the runs is at the Recreation Department, Harbor Island Park, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And registration is also possible on the day of the run at the Pavilion at Harbor Island Park from 8:30 to 9:30. The pre-registration fee is $15. Post-registration on the race day itself is $20. In case you have further questions, you can call the Mamaroneck Village Recreation Department at 914-777-7784.
And that's it for this week's edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
If you want to see this news show again, you can. It's on every weekday night at 7 p.m. We'll record 1 show each week, and it's replayed on this channel, LMC-TV, channel 75.
Or if you want to request to see it, you can. Call LMC-TV after 4 in the afternoon during the week at 698-6808 and ask to see the news show. They'll try to put it on at a time that's convenient for you to watch.
And this reminder, this news program is an all-volunteer effort, and we could use a few more volunteers either behind the scenes or as a reporter. Or maybe you'd like to shoot video. Whatever the case, we need you.
In short, if you want to volunteer to help us put this program on, we've got something for you to do. Stop by some Thursday night in the LMC-TV studios and see how we do what we do.
The LMC-TV studios are in the Mamaroneck High School, the Palmer Avenue side, just up the stairs across from the landmark Walter's hot dog stand. We get things started around 7 p.m. and we would love to see you.
Also, if you have any comments or suggestions or some video of an event that you'd like us to put on this news show, bring it to the studio or write to us at Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News in care of LMC-TV, 1 Library Lane, Mamaroneck, New York, 10543. Thanks again for watching Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Maura Carlin.
And I'm Sven Oehme. Very good. A new judge is hired for the suspended Mamaroneck police officer case.
Local schools excel in state math scores.
Public reaction to plans for Flint Park.
And an on-location interview at Pink on Palmer, a new beauty store, and a whole lot more. Those stories and more right here on this edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
Hello and welcome to Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Sven Oehme.
And I'm Alyssha Miro. Our top story?
In the case of disciplinary hearings for a Mamaroneck Village police officer, Jeremy Skian, who has accused the Department of Corruption, the hearings will now be conducted by a former state court justice. The village trustees, in their function as the Board of Police Commissioners, recused themselves from the case and hired the former state Supreme Court Justice James R. Cowie. Cowie will receive $250 an hour and will conduct all hearings regarding the case of suspended officer Jeremy Skian. At the conclusion of the hearings, Cowie will send a report to the Mamaroneck village manager, Lenny Verastro, who will make the final decision in this case. Mamaroneck Mayor Phil Trifiletti explained the decision of the trustees to recuse themselves from the case because Skian's attorney, Jonathan Lovett, has sued the trustees on an individual basis in federal court. Trifiletti told the Journal News, quote, "It puts us in a difficult position," end of quote. Skian's attorney Lovett told the Journal News, quote, "It's their idea of blowing the case off, distancing themselves. It's a complete waste of taxpayers' time because they are pursuing a course that is flat out illegal," end of quote. The village attorney Kevin Plunkett, however, argued that U.S. District Judge Charles Bean had given the approval of hiring the former state Supreme Court Justice to conduct the hearings. Plunkett told the Journal News, "We needed someone of that stature to move it forward. He's a man of integrity," end of quote.
Larchmont residents weigh in on plans for Flint Park. Here with the story is Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Laura Smith.
2 plans are on the table, or should I say, 2 in the bush, for upgrading and revitalizing the Larchmont Jewel, better known as Flint Park. As reported in the Times by Michelle Lee, there are currently 2 plans for renovating the park. The first plan would include 2 soccer and baseball fields, new plants, and open access to the park's waterfront. Plan 2 would include 2 new playgrounds to replace an existing aging playground and an old and dirty sandbox. One of the playgrounds would be geared to toddlers with safety padding and age-appropriate play equipment. The other for older children, including a rock climbing wall. The Larchmont Village Board, Flint Park Conservancy, Recreation Committee, Parks and Trees Committee, and area residents worked with the project planning consultant to come up with the plans which were presented to the village trustees last Monday. These plans are under revision, and working out the details for the cost and schedule of the renovation are yet to be determined. The Flint Park Conservancy is trying to raise $140,000 for the new playgrounds and has thus far raised $10,000 and has $35,000 in extra funds. According to Sid Ings, president of the Larchmont Soccer League, approximately 1,700 children from kindergarten to the 12th grade use the park. One Larchmont parent, John Steigerwald, is so enthusiastic about the proposed changes to the park, he participated in the Ironman Triathlon in Florida to raise money for the project. Swimming 2.4 miles, biking 112 miles, and running a marathon of 26.2 miles is a pretty amazing effort for the benefit of many area residents. I'm exhausted just thinking about it. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Laura Smith.
And we want to thank Mike Witch for that video footage. And the Ironman, Larchmont resident John Steigerwald completed the Florida Ironman Triathlon at Panama City Beach and stands to collect $27,000 in pledges for his chosen charity, the Flint Park Playground Project. Congratulations.
Well, that is impressive.
Very.
Our local schools have performed well on recent statewide math tests. Here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray with the scores.
The New York State math test scores have been published for the public to read. Mamaroneck Superintendent King is pleased with the results. She believes the scores have vindicated the strong math programs in the school district. However, the public must remember that scores fluctuations exist each year depending upon the students who take the examination. Superintendent King wants to form a group or committee to examine the scores in order to determine how a small percentage of students can impact the outcome of the test. In the spring, the Tri-State Consortium, an organization which focuses on improving education, will visit the district. Dr. King hopes to learn new ways to improve the students' performances on the state tests. The scores for the 4th and 8th grades are as follows. Chatsworth, 4th grade math scores, 97% passed, 65% exceeded test standards. Central School, 95% passed, 63% exceeded test standards. Mamaroneck Avenue School, 85% passed, 31% exceeded test standards. Murray Avenue, 94% passed, 62% exceeded test standards. And in the Hommocks, for the 8th grade, 82% passed, 36% exceeded test standards. The metric system will be included into the curriculum soon in order to help to build math and science skills. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I am Glenna Gray.
A wild man has been hunting on the Leatherstocking Trail, but it's for the public. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Kate Fahey explains.
On Sunday, November 16th, wild man Steve Brill led local residents on a 2-hour walking tour of the Leatherstocking Trail. Wild man Steve is a naturalist, environmental educator, and author who lives right here in Mamaroneck. Steve has published 2 books, The Wild Vegetarian Cookbook and Identifying and Harvesting Edible and Medicinal Plants in Wild and Not So Wild Places. He spends a good amount of time searching the Leatherstocking Trail in Larchmont for wild edible plants and mushrooms. On the Wild Man Tour, Steve showed the group how to identify and use the best tasting renewable last season edible greens, herbs, and roots. The group also went hunting for field garlic and sheep sorrel, which taste like lemonade. However, things weren't always so sweet for Wild Man Steve Brill. In 1986, Steve was arrested for eating a dandelion in Central Park. Steve became a media celebrity, and the New York City Parks Department dropped the charges and hired him to lead his own park tours. In 1990, Steve returned to the freelance work. Today, he works with schools, libraries, day camps, various organizations, and even leads birthday parties. For more information about Wild Man Steve, visit his website at www.wildmanstevebrill.com. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Kate Fahey.
The Mamaroneck School District has been looking for an additional full-size soccer field to accommodate an expanding enrollment and an explosion in the number of children playing field sports. Since May, the school board has been in private conversations with the Kemper family, but as yet no solution has surfaced that is acceptable to both the schools and the family. The school board has said the only practical way to squeeze in an extra field would require shifting land now devoted to the Kemper Memorial Park on the Boston Post Road. Reconfiguring the park is an option the family has yet to accept, said Richard Cantor, grandson of Adolph Kemper, who donated the park to the district in 1946 in memory of his son Richard and the 98 other local men and one woman who died serving the country during World War II. The family has not ruled out changing the park entirely, but would consider it only if no other viable option existed and only under specific conditions. The conditions would have to satisfy the community, veterans groups, the Larchmont Historical Society, as well as the family, said Cantor in the Larchmont Gazette. Conditions would include assurances to protect the park and its significance in the future. Despite impressions conveyed elsewhere in the media, both he and the board are attempting to avoid a battle and to find an amicable solution.
Okay.
And again, we'd like to thank Mike Witch for that wonderful footage.
With the latest numbers on housing prices, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray.
Welcome to the Real Estate Corner. The median price for a single-family house in Westchester County is $588,250. This price represents a 3% rise compared to the previous quarter of a year earlier. The increase of houses available for sale has helped to keep prices relatively stable. Co-ops and condominiums have both increased in price. The median price for a condominium in Westchester is $303,000. And for a co-op, the price is $125,000. For the co-op, this price represents a rise of 14%. Mortgage interest rates are still around 6%. These low rates tend to drive prices higher. Several people who purchased their homes years ago have taken advantage of the appreciation of their property and have refinanced their mortgages once or even twice and still reduced their monthly statements. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I am Glenna Gray.
The Homicks held a variety show, and we have the scoop from a student. Here's our newest Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter, Danny Carlin, with the story.
Boy, is there talent at Homicks Middle School. Quite a variety. In fact, the first annual Homicks Variety Show took place November 12th in the brand new Homicks Auditorium. The auditorium itself, which will officially open November 18th, was worth the wait. It has 597 seats, 384 lights, 4 exits, and a remote lighting board. The perfect setting to showcase song, dance, comedy, piano and drum solos, and even a unicycle rider sporting high heels. After an introduction by Homicks principals Dr. Seth Weitzman, the 8th grade hosts William Moore and Ben Roberts kept the show rolling. There were lots of high notes with the songs ranging from Shania Twain's country rock to Destiny's Child's R&B, and even Broadway. Those dancing feet kept the audience clapping. In fact, it was a great audience that couldn't stop clapping and supporting the stars. I can't wait till next year's show. Don't miss it. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Danny Carlin.
If you have not registered for the Turkey Trot in Mamaroneck Village, you have to do it now. The annual Turkey Trot will take place on Sunday, November 23rd, starting at 10 a.m. There are 2 runs, a 5-mile run which starts at 10 a.m. sharp, and a 1-mile run that is scheduled to start at 10:15. Registration for the runs is at the Recreation Department at Harbor Island Park, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And registration is also possible on the day of the run at the Pavilion at Harbor Island Park from 8:30 to 9:30 a.m. The pre-registration fee is $15, and post-registration on the race day itself is $20. In case you have any further questions, you can call the Mamaroneck Village Recreation Department at 914-777-7784.
So So you get any prizes for trotting like a turkey? Strutting your feathers.
You get a T-shirt.
Okay, that's good. Well, a new store has come to Larchmont. It's called Pink. And Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Amy Schechtel has an on-location interview about this exciting new addition to Palmer Avenue.
It's a combination of luxury bath and body, things that make us feel good. We should be taking care of ourselves, you know, relaxing. But we also have cosmetics. We have skin and hair care. Skin care is very important. Even with the winter coming, we're still getting sunlight, and we need to take care of our skin. We have scents for the home, candles, incense, all sorts of nice soaps. And then we have, right behind me is the aromatherapy line. We have just lots of things that make us feel good.
So, Judy, what made you come to Larchmont?
Well, probably the first thing that happened was my daughter, who lives in Larchmont, saw this corner and she said, "Mom, this is the best corner." And it is the best corner. I love sitting here. I love looking out. I love seeing the people passing by. Larchmont's a walking town, and it's great. And and they're so friendly and so nice. Everybody has just come in to see what's happened to the old store and what's in the new place. And I also thought, you know, Larchmont doesn't have, I walked all around. I didn't want to do what's already here because you've got wonderful stores here. So I wanted to do something that I thought people in Larchmont would really benefit from and something that I know something about. So it was a good combo.
That's great. No, you are one of a kind here. There has not been another shop like yours. I think from what I've learned about you and gotten to know about you, Judy, anything you would put together would be uniquely your own. You're very welcome. But and you've worked in related fields before?
I have. I got into retail. Well, actually, I was on the other side of the desk for many years. I love to shop, so this is like the best experience because now I get to go buy for the store. But I also started to work in retail, I don't know, probably 6-7 years ago, managing small stores, gift stores, and boutiques. So I've had that side of the experience. I've never owned my own store. So this is what I refer to as my midlife crisis. Oh. And I love it. I have learned so much. It's been exciting.
I was just going to say, this is not your midlife crisis. This is your midlife excitement. This is a terrific place, and I urge all of you to come by and meet Judy and see all of the things that she has here. Judy, do you have other people who have specialties that work here with you?
I'm really lucky. I have several women that I've worked with in the past who have great retail experience, but also have experience in all of these fields, skincare, the cosmetics. Alice Dano, she's great picking out colors. Everybody that is here has had a fair amount of experience. We also have people coming in from the different lines. Like this Saturday, I have the Tila Clerk makeup artist coming in doing complimentary makeovers, and I'm going to have a skincare specialist in. We're going to have different events here because I think it's important to inform not just the women, the men, about, for example, skincare, to take care of their skin.
You bring up a very good point that aromatherapy, makeup, creams, skincare, hair care, it's not just for women. No, there are plenty of men who enjoy it, use it, and actually I've noticed you have a beautiful array of men's shaving products. And tell me a little bit.
I'd love to. I love e-shave, and there's a lot about shaving that men may not know about, and we can tell them a lot about it, and it can be a much better experience for them. And they really should be taking care of their skin. There's a lot of environmental damage that we do to our skin here living in a populated area where there's a fair amount of smog and the salt in the air. Men really need to take care of their skin. Now, I know they're not going to put rose petals on their eyes, but we've got things that will appeal to them, and they should be taking care of themselves.
So, Judy, we're going to invite men, women, young men, to please come over to Pink on Palmer. It's the corner of Palmer and Chatsworth. What is the phone number here?
It's 833-8955, and I'd love to have people give me a call if they're interested in particular products that we have. And if they stop by, I'm always open to suggestions. Well, this is kind of a work in progress. So if somebody says, "Oh, gee, I wish we had this," I'm listening. So
Well, that's great to know. And I think I'll be by this weekend for some of those makeovers and get some tips.
Great. I'd love to have you. I'd love to have everybody.
Well, thank you very much, Judy. And everybody, again, come on by. This is a beautiful place. It looks good. It feels good. It smells terrific in here. And everything seems to be falling into really nice shape. Thank you. And as Judy said, come in and help her put things together. If there are things that you are looking for that she can help you find, this would be the time and the place to come to.
As homeowners and landscapers pile up leaves at the curb, it's important that fire hydrants are kept free of any such leaf piles. They could create confusion for the fire department in trying to locate a hydrant in a fire emergency. The piling of leaves around fire hydrants also subjects the hydrants to the hazard of damage in the leaf collecting process, since an equipment operator may inadvertently strike the hydrant. So again, when you clean up the yard, keep the leaves away from the fire hydrants so that they're visible and readily available for use for the fire department in case of an emergency. And that's it for this week's edition of Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News.
If you want to see this news show again, you can. It's on every weekday night at 7 p.m. We'll record one show each week, and it's replayed on this channel, LMC-TV, channel 75.
Or if you want to request to see it, you can call LMC-TV after 4 in the afternoon during the week at 698-6808 and ask to see the news show. They'll try to put it on at a time that's convenient for you to watch.
And this reminder, this news program is an all-volunteer effort. We could use a few more volunteers, either behind the scenes or as a reporter. Or maybe you'd like to shoot video, and whatever the case, we need you.
In short, if you want to volunteer to help us put this program on, we have something for you to do. Stop by some Thursday night in the LMC-TV studios and see how we do what we do.
The LMC-TV studios are on the Mamaroneck High School, the Palmer Avenue side, just up the stairs across from the landmark Walter's Hot Dog Stand. We get things started around 7 p.m. and we would love to see you.
If you have any comments or suggestions or some video of an event that you'd like us to put on this news show, bring it to the studio or write to us at Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News in care of LMC-TV, 1 Library Lane, Mamaroneck, New York, 10543.
Thanks again for watching Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Sven Oehme.
And I'm Alyssha. We'll see you next week.
And we'll get the turkey with you.
Yeah. Mamaroneck officers are back on the payroll.
A county tax hike may be on the horizon.
Homix Middle School has a ribbon cutting.
Suburban karting airs its noise and odor problems.
And 22 MHS musicians compete at an all-state competition. Those stories and more right here on this edition of Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News.
Hello and welcome to Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Christina Bolger.
And I'm Alyssha Miro. Our top story.
The 2 Mamaroneck police officers who made charges of corruption against the village police department have been put back on the payroll of the village. However, both of them remain suspended until their disciplinary hearings have been completed. Jeremy Skehan was suspended in May, and Officer John DiTurcio was suspended for supporting Officer Skehan in July. As we reported last week, former Supreme Court Judge James Cowie will preside over the hearings that are being conducted in the case of Officer Skehan. The village was advised by the former U.S. District Court Judge Charles Bryant to have an outside person and not the village trustees conduct the hearings. Judge Bryant also advised the village to reinstate the pay of Skehan. Alternatively, he suggested terminating him. The next hearings in the Skehan case will be on November 26th, December 1st, and December 4th. Hearings in the DiCiaccio case will be scheduled for later in December. We will keep you posted.
The battle to create a 1% sales tax hike versus an inflated property tax is on again. County legislator from Mamaroneck, George Latimer, is open to the idea, and Town Supervisor Valerie Moore O'Keefe is willing to consider it, though she has a number of reservations, according to an article in the Larchmont Gazette. County Executive Andy Spano presented his $1.4 billion budget to the Westchester Board of Legislature on Friday, November 14th. Spano's proposed budget, if adopted, would require a 25% raise in property taxes. Of course, this is the case only if covering the costs were done solely through property taxes. For 2003, county taxes rose an average of 15%, but Town of Mamaroneck taxpayers ended up paying closer to 23% because of a complex equalization rate that considers a community's economic status relative to the rest of the county. According to Mamaroneck Town Supervisor Valerie Moore O'Keefe in the Larchmont Gazette, the proposed sales tax hike would be levied only in towns and villages, but not in cities. The proposal would raise the sales tax everywhere, but in the major cities such as Yonkers, Mount Vernon, White Plains, and New Rochelle. And there doesn't seem to be any provision for sharing the increased income with the towns and villages. Still, it seems local officials, including County Legislator from Mamaroneck, George Latimer, are still open to ideas in order to avoid another huge county tax bill. It's still early in the budget cycle, and the county legislature has until December 27th to pass its final budget.
Hommock celebrated a recent expansion. Here is Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Maura Carlin with the news on this exciting event.
It's official. The show can go on at the newly opened Hommock's Auditorium. The ribbon cutting was held November 18th. The new theater boasts 587 seats, and according to Hommock's principal, Dr. Seth Weitzman, it represents a new era at the Hommock's. Already 25 cultural arts events are planned for this year, events that Dr. Weitzman says would not have been possible without this world-class facility. The opening of the auditorium represents the final stage of the Hommock's construction, made possible by the bond passed in 2000, and is the culmination of about 15 years of work in evaluating and implementing the community's needs. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Maura Carlin.
I recently had an opportunity to meet with Brooke Lauer to tell us about the Upper Class, which provides day trips in our area to famous academies and cultural events.
The Upper Class is a new venture for my family, and we're very excited. We've always been in the Westchester area, and we're very happy that our grandmother moved here very recently and is really the inspiration for this new venture for us.
And she's 83 years young.
Yes, and she says age should be venerated. So we celebrate that every day. And
that's great.
It was difficult for her when she first moved here. There wasn't that many opportunities for her to engage in society, really meet people her own age, and it was concerning as her children, as her grandchildren. We were worried that she wasn't going to enjoy it and be happy that she had made the move. So we all started to brainstorm, and it really was inspired by her.
So it was a family effort. And,
absolutely, family effort. We're all involved.
So
my sister, brother-in-law, mother, father.
Wow.
It's a family. It's a family
effort.
affair,
sure.
Definitely.
So you recently started in June?
Yeah, we really started working on pulling it together in June, but we've really taken it public since September. We've had a great turnout for our first trip to West Point. Had about 25 people.
Wow.
Which for the first one was very positive.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Now, is there an age requirement for you?
Definitely not. I mean, we are welcoming anybody that calls themselves an active adult in the Westchester area.
Active, okay, I like
we
that.
do have a minimum age of 21 because some of our trips do include wine tastings or things like that.
Sounds like fun.
But yeah, it definitely is, and you know, we hope maybe to include a Grandparents' Day and bringing grandchildren along on a special event later on in the year, something like that. But definitely, everybody's welcome.
Now, what's next on your calendar?
December 10th is our next trip, and it should be very nice. We'll be visiting the Manor House at Carramore, which will be decorated for the holidays. They do a very nice job there. It'll be very festive, and we'll have a tour of the house. We'll go from there to a private holiday concert, and from there a really elegant tea where they've done a beautiful job picking out a nice menu for us.
This sounds more like a cultural events as opposed to just going to Atlantic City, which is geared a lot towards seniors and people.
Yeah, and
quick trips.
That's a great trip too, and a lot of our guests are interested in that as well, but we would like to provide a variety and sort of an alternative for that. So it's really more about learning and enjoying some of the things that the area has to offer.
But you will do that in the future.
Absolutely, yeah. We know our guests are interested in that for sure.
And the trips are escorted?
Yes,
By
one of
family?
the upper class family will always be attending, at least one of us. Probably for a while you'll get stuck with all of us. It's good for us to really meet our guests and get to know them and make sure that all of the trips are providing what our guests are looking for.
Well, that's great. Now, how will people get in contact with you?
Well, we are trying to reach out to the community and meet as many people as possible, like yourself. At the same time, our website is up and running. It's www.theupperclass.net. So please send us an email there or give us a call at 833-1001.
833-1001.
Yes.
Well, thank you and good luck.
Thank you so much.
Again, if you're interested in joining an upper class trip, please call 833-1001 or log on to theupperclass.net. And they also provide luxury coaches.
Ooh, very nice.
Yes.
Well, the Emmeline Theater received a generous gift from Stop and Shop. With the details, return to Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Amy Schachtel.
30 years ago, Mildred and Arthur Emmeline accepted an award from the Council for the Arts of Westchester as they stood on the stage of the newly completed Emmeline Theater. Today, the Stop and Shop Supermarket Company is proud to be a partner with the School Outreach Program and has donated a $5,000 check to the Emmeline Theater, which will provide for free and reduced price tickets to over 5,000 students, teachers, and class groups from elementary, middle, and high schools throughout the Westchester County. The Stop and Shop Supermarket Company charitable giving program has also been supporting cancer research and hunger relief efforts. The theater that Mildred and Arthur Emmeline created is the oldest performing arts theater in Westchester County. And in 1997, the Emmeline's mission was to give to the public school sector what they could not afford, when arts and entertainment were cut back in the school budget. So, let's all enjoy this amazing theater and appreciate even more this worthwhile cause. The Emmeline Theater is located on Library Lane in Mamaroneck, and if you would like to find out about upcoming events, please call the box office at 914-698-0098. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Amy Schachtel.
Mamaroneck Village residents got the opportunity to hear and ask questions about a proposal to remedy odor and noise pollution at the Suburban Karting Corp Garage transfer station just this past Monday, November 17th. Also in attendance was the Westchester County Solid Waste Commission, Allied Waste representatives, and a hearing officer. The presentation was given by Webster Environmental Associates, a Louisville, Kentucky firm that compiled a report filled with recommendations during the summer. Webster was hired by the village but paid by Suburban as part of a lawsuit agreement with Suburban Karting. The report, which has more than 100 pages, suggests the installation of a new odor and noise suppression system at the 308 Fayette Avenue station, which would include 5 large industrial fans to blow away smells, a carbon odor absorber, and acoustic tiles to muffle noises. Estimated costs could run upwards of $325,000. The proposal would need to be voted on by the village trustees. For years, residents who live near the garbage station complained that smells and noises from the company created health hazards. In July, the Village Zoning Board of Appeals revoked Suburban Karting's permit after they found the company in violation of its 1981 use variance for failing to control odor and noise problems. Suburban appealed, and the decision is the subject of a pending Supreme Court case. Last year, Allied Waste Industries, the parent company of Suburban Karting, was fined $90,000 by the state, DEC, for accepting industrial waste at 3 stations in Mamaroneck, Croton, and Mount Kisco. Earlier in November, Suburban Karting was fined again in Mamaroneck for odor violations, in which they paid $2,000. Suburban Karting has 2 cases pending in village court for noxious odors and keeping equipment outside. We'll keep you updated on the results of the hearing.
Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Maura Carlin had an opportunity to sit down with Mamaroneck Schools Foundation Board President Sabrina Fiddleman. Let's go to Maura with the interview.
Mamaroneck Schools Foundation is a community-based, all-volunteer organization whose mission is to raise money and grant it back into the schools for the sole purpose of improving the quality of an already good education in the Mamaroneck School District.
How long has it been around?
We are actually entering our 8th granting year. We've been around 7 years.
What kinds of grants have you given?
Oh,
Not you personally.
All kinds of grants. We've actually given grants for teacher training and for diversity and for curriculum and for capital equipment in the schools. We try to give in all areas. We solicit grants from all the faculty and staff and from the community, and we try to, be broad-based in what we give.
I mean, I've heard about a few of them, like some music equipment.
We've given music equipment, we've given keyboards at Murray Avenue School to the music teacher, which was a very successful grant. The kids love it. We've given computers, we've given sports equipment in the high school. Those are some of the capital items we've given. We've done a lot of teacher training in several of the schools. We've done diversity awareness programs. We've done lots of cultural arts.
How do you raise the money for this?
We have traditionally had one fundraising event a year. We send a mailing out just at this time of the year. In fact, it's been out there in everybody's mailboxes for just a few days. Several years ago, we added a second event, the Antiques Fair, which is in March every year at the high school. And last year, we had our first annual gala fundraising event, which was an extremely successful dinner dance.
Going to do it again?
We are, in fact, going to do it again. Our date is May 8th this year, and invitations will come out in the early spring.
Okay, how do you determine what grants you're going to give?
We have a committee, our grants committee, which consists of 12 members of our board. Our board consists of about 27 people this year. 12 members of the board receive all the grants from all the faculty, staff, and community members, and they allocate scarce resources. They read all the grants, they work with all the grant writers, they try to understand what people want and how best we can share our resources amongst all those people.
We have 6, I think, schools in the district. Is there any specific allocation per school, per capita?
No, there isn't. We try to be fair. We try to make sure that we attend to each school and to each school's needs. But in fact, because we don't write the grants, we just receive them, we don't have complete control over how much money goes into every school at every year.
Okay. How can people get involved if they're interested?
Oh, it's very simple. They can call our office. The Mamaroneck Schools Foundation is located in the high school, just down the hall from the superintendent's office. Our phone number is 698-9079, or we can be emailed at msfoundation@mamkschools.org.
And contributions are tax deductible, right?
Contributions are completely tax deductible.
Thank you, Sabrina, for joining us. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
A former Mamaroneck resident died on Veterans Day when he fell off a tree-mounted hunting perch in Rye. Officer Timothy Falco was 44 years old. He was a 3-letter athlete from Mamaroneck High School. After he graduated from Fordham, he went to California to become a police officer. In November of 1983, he became a motorcycle officer. He was awarded Officer of the Year in 1997 for community service. He also had numerous commendations during 20 years on the force. 4 months ago, Officer Falco was named the department's labor liaison and had been assigned to the grocery workers' strike that is currently happening in Los Angeles. He was studying for the sergeant's exam. His youngest brother, James, has been a member of the Village of Mamaroneck Police Department for the past 15 years, and his mother, Marjorie Chambers Falco, is the secretary for the Village Harbor Master. In addition to his mother and brother, James, he is survived by another brother, Mario, his wife, Kathleen Ferrico Falco, and 2 children, Timothy Jr. and Lindsay Jane. Our condolences to the Falco family.
Interested in being on the school board selection committee? Well, then listen up to Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray.
The committee for the selection of school board nominees for the Mamaroneck School District has begun. Its members, 9 members, elected last spring for 3-year terms, have joined those elected in the 2 previous years. The new chairman is a Mr. Maroney. This selection committee is an independent organization whose task is to seek out talented, interested residents from the 4 elementary school districts who would want to run for the position of school board trustee. A few months before the May election, the committee will announce its selection and introduce the candidate or candidates to the public at large. Next year, there are 2 seats up for election. Many of the selection committee meetings are held out of public view. However, there will be a series of open events where residents are invited to learn about the process of selecting candidates and the criteria used to assess the candidates. If you are interested in serving on the school board or the selection committee, you may call 834-4388 or email mayor@line.net. I don't think that's quite right. Let me repeat that email, mayors@optonline.net. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Glenna Gray.
And 22 students from Mamaroneck High School had the opportunity to play at the All-State competition held at SUNY Purchase. Here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Kate Fahey with the story.
On Friday, November 14th, 22 of Mamaroneck High School students participated in the Area All-State Orchestra, Band, and Choir performances at the SUNY Purchase Performing Arts Center. The students were chosen for their participation in the MHS Music Department programs and also for their outstanding performances at the New York State Music School Association Solo Festival competition last spring. After being selected, the students endured 3 very intense rehearsals while being led by professional conductors. The students selected were Claire Morgenstern, Sarah Muffley, Sarah Lewin, and Chris Patrone for voice, Diana Bilbao, Dylan Burchard, and Anna Gunther for cello, Rachel Levy, Cornelia Moore, and Laura Staffaroni for second violin, Lainey Kaplan-Levinson, Bill Fuller, Pete Williams, and Michelle Chenitz for viola, Brian Brandon for string bass, Marion Pope for flute, Matt Schumer and Noah Nathan for alto sax, Brian Weston for French horn, Walter Apeson for tuba, and Will Binzer for mallets. Congratulations to all. If you would like more information about the MHS music program, please contact Dina Madden at 220-3140. Once again, congratulations to all the participants. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Caitlin Fahey.
With the latest in the world of real estate, here's our very own Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter, Glenna Gray.
Welcome to the Real Estate Corner. If you have purchased an older home, check out your house because Old Man Winter is just around the corner. Here are a few suggestions. Number 1, check your thermostat. 60 degrees at night, 68 degrees during the day. Those are the numbers recommended to save energy. Number 2, check all windows for cracks and for their ability to close completely. Cold air can enter through glass under doors, the electrical sockets, and pipes entering from the outside. Number 3, insulate your hot water heater. 4, close off any rooms that will not be used during the season. And 5, remember, you are now the landlord. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Glenna Gray.
And congratulations to all those musicians. And that's it for this week's edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
If you want to see this new show again, you can. It's on every weekday night at 7 p.m. We record one show each week and it's replayed on this channel, LMC-TV, Channel 75.
Or if you want to request to see it, you can call LMC-TV after 4 in the afternoon during the week at 698-6808 and ask to see the new show. They'll try to put it on at a time that's convenient for you to watch.
And this reminder, this news program is an all-volunteer effort, and we could use a few more volunteers, either behind the scenes or as a reporter, or maybe you'd like to shoot video. Whatever the case, we need you.
In short, if you want to volunteer to help us put this program on, we have something for you to do. Stop by some Thursday night in the LMC-TV studios and see how we do what we do.
The LMC-TV studios are in the Mamaroneck High School, the Palmer Avenue side, just up the stairs across from the landmark Walter's Hot Dog stand. We get things started around 7 p.m. and we would love to see you.
Also, if you have any comments or suggestions or some video of an event that you would like us to put on this new show, bring it to the studio or write to us at Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, care of LMC-TV, 1 Library Lane, Mamaroneck, New York, 10543.
Thanks again for watching Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Christina Bolger.
And I'm Alyssha Miro. Hope you have a happy Thanksgiving.
Safe holiday.
Gobble, gobble.